are at a dentist's office, and we already have a young one who will be our patient of the day. And of course, he is with his father. I'll be introducing them in a moment. But of course, our host this morning is Dr. Emma Enene, who is a pediatric dentist and orthodontist, and also the CEO of Dentplan Dental Surgeons. Thank you for having us. And of course, being part of this very pertinent conversation, going by what the reactions were yesterday when I put up the question, when is the last time you took your children to see a dentist, if at all? Remember, that hashtag is a new normal, and we shall be reviewing that as we go along with the conversation. So, Dr. Emma, let's start off with pediatric dentistry, which is what is, or what we're calling catering for the children's teeth. Why is it critical?
Well, pediatric dentistry is the science where dentistry focuses on children. Why? Because children have a different formula from adults. We have 20 milk teeth, and this happened between the age of 6 months up to 3 years, and this goes on up till 11 years. And thereafter, we have permanent dentition. What's the purpose of milk teeth? Milk teeth are actually the foundation at which the permanent teeth grow. So the milk teeth are present, they allow proper jaw development, and then we have the permanent dentition coming in the right position. If we neglect our milk teeth, that means the permanent dentition doesn't grow in the right place, in the right position. Therefore, we get crowding, we get shorter, smaller jaws, and we get ourselves having a bite that isn't correct because either one jaw is bigger than the other, and therefore, when a child is trying to bite, the teeth don't meet.
Okay, that gives a good perspective as to why we need to have this conversation. Tell us this, how soon should a child be brought to see a dentist?
Teeth are up at 6 months. I say that's the best time to start coming to see a dentist. Why? That's when a parent also learns how they're going to brush the child's mouth. We say try and get a clean cloth so that you can be able to start brushing the 2 teeth that actually are up at 6 months. And this continues on so that by the time a child is 3 years, they can be able to brush, of course under supervision. They can actually manipulate a toothbrush in their mouth, and they're able to actually clean up their teeth.
But 6 months sounds so early. The child can barely even do some stuff for themselves.
That is why the parent has to come with the child at 6 months. It is the parent actually who guides the child so that we're able to actually have this oral health habit, hygiene habits, toothbrushing, therefore ingrained as a child. And also the parent gets informed on what to look out for, where the milk teeth are developing, so that we can actually arrest the problem at an early age.
And of course, some of us had about the dental formula when we were doing our science back in school. So just remind us, how do they sprout? We start with what, and then how does the mouth fill up eventually?
Fine. So at 6 months, we have the incisors. These are the front teeth that actually grow. You start with the lower 2, then go to the upper 2, then they actually have the lower 4, then the upper 4, then you get your canines, then you get your molars at the back. So there are actually 20 milk teeth. By the time the child is 3, they have got all their 20 milk teeth. Therefore, by that time, the child, because he has seen by habit the mother trying to clean up the mouth, they themselves also get an interest in actually brushing. Sometimes it's good to even get an electrical toothbrush just to motivate a child so they're able to actually clean. But oral hygiene begins at 6 months.
Now, it will be easy to think we're only talking to those that are in the urban setting. In the rural areas, they even have traditional ways of cleaning teeth.
Yes.
What would you suggest?
Now, in the rural areas, it's actually better that once they start with a small cloth and then advance into 1-year-old, you can get a muswaki, from the neem plant.
Yeah.
Because of its medicinal value, this is able to help to clean. It will be a little bitter the first time, but with time, the child will actually adapt to that taste. So you'll actually be able to actually go around. And the good thing about a neem stick or the chewing stick is that it's actually small. So you can actually manipulate it on all the small teeth of the tooth of a child, as compared to a toothbrush, which is actually a little bigger in size. So actually the traditional toothbrush, the neem stick, is very good. Yeah.
And in the traditional setting, definitely salt will be used instead of toothpaste.
Well, salt is not recommended for children below 3 years. Even sugar is not recommended for children below 3 years. So I wouldn't advise so, because for nutritional value, we start saying that we try to limit sugar intake and salt intake between 0 to 3. So that neem stick is the trick.
In itself?
Yes.
Okay, with water.
Yeah, with water. Then you can advance toothpaste. There are various toothpastes, from different ages. Yes, you'll find that in urban centers, but the neem stick, if you continue with it in traditional setup, that works.
Okay, let me take you back to the fact that you mentioned that the dental formula of a child is different from that of an adult. The rest of us think whatever came out will come out or will grow back in with the adult teeth. Clearly, this is not the case.
No, this is not the case because all teeth develop at different stages. Okay, I've already told you even at 6 months you'll have the lower two, then getting to the upper two. There's no way it will grow randomly. There is actually a program. And therefore, by the time the child is 5 or 6, the teeth that actually will exfoliate, will come out, will actually be the lower two again, coming into the lower incisors, then again the upper two, in that formula. So if you lose a tooth because maybe of decay or something, and expect that that tooth will grow, if that tooth is meant to grow at 10 or 11, it will grow only at 10 and 11. But will the space wait for the child to be 10 or 11, 5 years? No, because it's going to collapse. Therefore, the tooth will interrupt in the right place, and therefore you're going to get crowding. And you're going to have all these teeth in jagged positions that create now more cavities because you can't brush properly, more gum disease, more problems.
You talk about exfoliation of the teeth. What does that mean?
Exfoliation is another term for the word shaking. So teeth start shedding off from the age of 4 to 5. So for girls, it might be a little early. For boys, even can go on as late as 6. Okay. So another word for exfoliating is shedding. Okay. So when the milk teeth start shedding, that is when all teeth will shed at their right age and at their right time. So an early extraction won't provide or allow another tooth to grow. No. It will only go at its right time.
Okay. All right. So as I said, our patient of the day is a young man called Reese. How old is he, the dad?
He's turning 4 in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, let's know your name too.
My name is Moses.
Moses. All right. So he's 2 years old?
4 years old.
4 years. And how long have you been seeing a dentist?
I can say this is the third appointment. I haven't been taking him so much.
3 is good.
Okay. There's the question that we're putting across. When is the last time, or when was the first time you yourself saw a dentist?
Actually, I can't remember. I totally can't remember. But for him, I care so much about his dental hygiene, and that's why I have to bring him often.
All right. So at 3 years, Daktari says you're doing very well. So well done on that. So we've talked about the cleaning process being very critical. Very critical. Okay, then. So can we see the cleaning process perhaps from a dental or dentist point of view so that we understand how to cater for these teeth?
Yes. Today we'll clean up roots, but I also would like to share 2 other concerns that I'm interested in. One is nutrition. So it's very sad when I see kids being given biscuits or sweets at an early age, especially between the age of 0 to 5. It's a good age at that time to just try and get their diet concerns, especially as a parent. Give more fruits, avoid the sweets, because that's where the cavities come from. And therefore, and if they're not brushing properly, then there we go, we're going to get cavities, and there we go, we're going to get some discomfort and pain, and therefore the child won't thrive, because once they get rampant dental caries, it's a problem. Another concern of mine is when a child sleeps with the teeth or with the bottle. The milk that remains in the mouth at night usually turns sour, okay? It forms lactic acid. This acid attacks the teeth, and these teeth now get decayed. Some of them even get all totally worn out. The child is suffering pain, gum bleeding, discomfort. This child can't eat well. This child can't thrive well. This child will constantly be in a lot of pain, and will always be told that the child doesn't have a good appetite, that's why he's not growing. No. This child is suffering. This child needs dental medical attention so that they're able to actually try and rehabilitate and try and actually get the teeth back. So diet is important, hygiene is important, and also be very concerned about sleeping with a bottle or a teeth at night.
Okay, but most mothers or all parents actually know that's the last thing you do for your child in the evening before they knock off.
Yeah, try as much as possible to be present. The child takes his bottle, and then you remove the bottle from the mouth. Remove the teeth from the mouth and let the child sleep on their own. Okay. Not with the bottle and not with the teeth.
So they do not have to swoosh their mouths?
Not necessarily, but at least that shouldn't sleep with the teat, and they shouldn't sleep with the bottle.
I see.
Because that milk, that sour milk, that lactic acid, that's where the problem lies.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me understand more from Moses. If I can have a microphone for him. Thank you. So, Moses, we've talked about sweets, biscuits, and all that. Are you guilty of indulging Reese here?
I'm guilty as charged, but I try to avoid it at night as much as possible. Yeah, so I only do it maybe during the day, but at night it's strictly on different diet. After supper, maybe some watermelon and such. Yeah.
And Dr. is saying it's important that you also explain to them why dental care is important as young as they are. Does he understand when you say, Papa, it's too late for you to have sweets or whatever else?
That's where we have most of the fights, because he really doesn't get it. Why am I being denied this or that? But trying to make him understand is much better, because he picks up things so easily, and whenever I go to brush is when he brushes. So if I don't,
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's now good with brushing his teeth?
When it comes to me, I have to do it, but when he's with the mother, then he does it himself.
Okay.
But for me, he has found a way of bullying me into doing it.
All right. So, Dr. at this point, let's understand first the process of cleaning from a dental point of view. Then we can understand the other processes, especially when it comes to the guardian or parent, as far as how they can assist the child to keep their teeth clean.
There you go.
All right, so Reese, time for you to get your teeth washed.
Let's let him continue with it. Just lean back.
So as Dr. is getting ready with Reese, who is our 4-year-old patient of the day, we are actually conducting a general cleaning of his teeth. Remember, that question of the day to you is, have you ever taken your children to see a dentist? And if not, why? Talk to us. That hashtag is new normal, and we'll be sampling them in a moment.
Ritz, look at this. Ritz. But here. Good.
Yay!
Very good.
Yay!
Open Ritz kidogo. Kidogo.
Ah?
Yeah,
good.
boy.
Nice teeth.
Good. Look at her. Good.
So, Dr. when these patients come to see you, do you clean their teeth like you would an adult, or you consider perhaps a different toothpaste, a different routine?
Now, when you're brushing a child's teeth, number one, the toothpaste has to be of concern, because right now we have a lot of fluoride in our water. So we'd like to have a toothpaste that has got very little fluoride, because fluorosis is also another common problem we're having with children. And that's because of the high fluoride content we have in our waters and in our soils. So most toothbrushes right now, especially for children, should have very low concentrations of fluoride. So when you're going to the supermarket, make sure you're taking a baby's toothpaste and check the fluoride levels to find out that they are low. And if you do, compared to an adult toothpaste, you're going to find that actually the concentration is lower. So that's one. Two, the toothbrush must be soft, okay? Because this child, you don't want any damage happening onto their gums. And this is a habit that you want now to ingrain on a child moving forward. So it has to have soft bristles.
Okay.
Traditional muswaki already is soft. Once it has been chewed on the head, the child will continue brushing without any issues. And as I said, the neem already has got the sap, which already has got medicinal value. So therefore, there will be no cavities formed using the traditional muswaki.
Okay, let's carry on.
Good, Baba. I open behind. Milk and all.
Yay! Who's a big boy?
Good.
Good job.
And at the back over here.
Who's getting their teeth clean? They look nice.
Good job. So like Ritz here has actually got all his 20 teeth. So at 3 years, this is all complete. And he's 4, and you see he's really very good because he brushes at home. Good.
Good boy.
Good. Very good.
So when you look at his dental formula, he clearly is doing well for his age, yeah?
Yes. Yes. He's doing very, very well. He has no cavities. The parents are very good with his diet. And that is true. It's always important, especially in the evening when you're brushing the child's teeth, to make sure that he's not eating any sweets during the evening before he sleeps. Because once those sugars remain in the mouth, those sugars are the ones that actually cause the acidity and the bacteria that form the cavities and bring in the gum disease, which is what we want to prevent, at least at this age.
Okay. Now, most has even mentioned, and some parents would actually do this, give their children fruits in the evening. Is that advisable, considering we're dealing with fructose too?
It depends on the kind of fruit, because like watermelon, the fructose level is very low. Mango, the fructose levels are very high. So it depends on the fruit. If it's a watermelon, if it is an apple, that's fine. And remember, he said he brushes the teeth before he goes to bed, so he follows up what the father is doing and what the mother is doing. So therefore, that habit has to be ingrained. Before you sleep, brush your teeth. In the morning when you wake up, brush your teeth. These are habits we want ingrained in children.
Okay, let's go back to the fluorosis. I see his teeth are pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But at this point, even if it had been extra fluoride, would you know?
Milk teeth are generally spared from fluoride unless the parent also had fluorosis. Okay, so usually it's actually the permanent dentition. At this age of 3, 4, we wouldn't know. This would happen now. We start shedding off at the age of 4, all right? That's when we start the effects. Why? Because of the environmental. The high fluoride in our waters, most of these gated communities now that we are having are using borehole. This borehole, the water needs to be tested. The level is high. And you'll find a whole village, people having children with these stained teeth. These stains are within the... So this fluorosis is really a common and a rampant problem right now in our societies. And I'd like to have these children actually have this water treated so that this fluoride goes down. Because what happens is if you're seeing fluorosis teeth, it's actually even happening in the bone. So they'll develop weak bones and weak teeth that are susceptible to caries and flake off and breaking down.
That the child perhaps could get fluorosis if the parents have fluorosis.
Not necessarily. I didn't say that. What happens is if the parent was drinking a lot, the water was also borehole and not treated, so the child could actually get fluorosis, but it won't reflect onto the milk teeth. Most of the time it will reflect to the permanent dentition. So the permanent teeth are the ones that suffer. However, even the bones do, even if you can't see them. But you'll find them, people, especially who have very high fluoride levels, their bones are usually very weak.
Okay, so in this case, what apart from the treating of water, which at times is not possible considering where we're living and our sources of water, what would you advise at home level?
Well, at home level, I think people will have to just take their own personal responsibility and just actually get this water treated. So you'd have to look for water treatment companies that would actually do so, and therefore do take the initiative to do so. Schools now are even having boreholes in their schools, and especially boarding schools. Parents in the PTAs, I suggest that you actually go forward and have these waters treated so that your children don't develop these conditions. Sometimes, again, bottled water, but then again, you don't know the source of the bottled water, but you'd imagine it's safer. Nairobi City Council water, we are being told it's safer, but still get it tested and find out whether the fluoride levels are down. This is really a tragedy in some places. The Great Rift Valley, Central Province area, because of the really high fluoride levels in the soils and in the water, you're going to find those communities having this discolored, children having this discolored teeth.
And even adults who now are grown.
Yeah, now they grow up with this, they have the self-esteem issues. Right now we've got this selfie generation, children coming in, so people aren't smiling very well. Confidence levels are down, even output in schools is really down. So we'd have to now think of what to do. We do different types of treatment procedures where we have masking, especially for children. In adults, we now do veneers and crowns, so that at least we try and get people's self-esteem confidence back.
Okay, so before you explain to us those procedures, are we done with Ritzia?
Ritzia is actually done because I'm pretty happy with his teeth and I'm pretty happy with the way the father has described and said their dietary concerns is. Okay, for me,
Papa. Let's see your nice smile.
Kidogo.
Let's see.
Good boy.
Good boy.
So at this age now, I can see all the 20 teeth are very clean. Baba.
Let's see your teeth. Yes, they really
good
are.
Boy.
White.
So this is a very well motivated child, and I'm very happy about that. And as long as he keeps on coming for his procedures, then he will not have a problem with any other treatments that would be coming in. And therefore, he himself also, even as he grows up as a young man, will also be taking better care of his teeth.
Okay, so when you say he keeps coming for his procedures, apart from the cleaning, what else do you do even if he doesn't have the tooth decay?
Oh, for this, because Rich doesn't have a tooth decay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now we'll be seeing him every 6 months just to be checking on his gums or any other cavity would have developed. But if he keeps up like this, I don't think he will. His teeth will shed at the right time. We'll help him out in the shedding. We'll be checking the eruption pattern of the teeth. His teeth, because they look like they'll stay in the right positions, then the permanent dentition will erupt in the right place. And this is what we want, because at the end of the day, we're trying to make sure that we don't get any gum disease, any cavities, and we don't have bite, we call them occlusion issues, where teeth are misplaced and you're not biting right.
Okay, you said every 6 months. We're told as adults, see your dentist at least once a year. So why so often for the kids?
Twice a year for the kids. Yes.
Why?
Because usually their teeth are small, so things happen very, very fast, unlike adults. And then pain tolerance in adults is more than for children. So we'd like to see them every 6 months. But child who is susceptible, who has got many cavities, would even after we have done all the fillings, every 3 months is advisable.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So does he get to swoosh and speak?
Yes, he'll do so at the sink.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Ritz.
Ritz, good job.
Well done, well done.
Thank you, Baba Ritz.
So Moses, tell me this. Do you have family members with the tooth cavities or misalignment of their gums?
No, not really.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So why were you so concerned about giving him such good dental care from the get-go?
Okay, it's because I see most kids from his playgroup who already have lost their teeth. So I was wondering how comes they lose their teeth that early. Yeah, so that's one of the motivator into ensuring that his dental hygiene is perfect.
Okay, all right. Sawa, let's get Ritz cleaned up as we talk more with the Daktari. Papa? Okay, there's the water.
Please go there to rinse at the big sink. You'll go here.
Okay, so Daktari, you had mentioned that you have interventions for fluorosis. You mentioned veneers, masking. What are these?
So, as I said, fluorosis is a big concern in our populations, and that's because of the high fluoride levels that we have in our waters and soils. So this is a debilitating disease in terms of self-confidence, and then again, also in terms of teeth, because they break off, and therefore one is not able to eat properly, therefore not able to thrive properly. So what should we do? For children at this age, for 4 or 5 years, we try and give them masking so that we actually mask. You know how you're wearing a mask? So yes, so we cover it up, literally. So we clean up the tooth surfaces, and then we put a layer of composite that acts like a new layer of enamel that this child now will progress on until they get to an age of about 16, 18. Then we therefore do a permanent solution, which is called veneers or crowns. You see this table? It has a veneer on top. A veneer is just like a coating, but a permanent one, unlike a masking one, which is temporary just for the child to use for 5 or 8 years. So we put in a new coating, a new enamel coating, okay? So veneers come in different types. You can get a composite veneer or you can get a porcelain veneer. So those ones are the ones that actually give the teeth a whole new shape and give permanent and lasting solutions. A crown now totally builds up the tooth, okay? And therefore, especially teeth that have really been broken down, now the crown provides a nice sound structural composition of the tooth. So both veneers and crowns are permanent solutions because they are color stable, they don't stain.
Okay,
Yes.
and the reason you wait up until they're 18 is because they're still growing?
Yes, because our face development continues. So this child will not look like this in another 2 years. This child will not look like this in another 5 years. So the face continues growing until the age of about some 16, others 18, others 22. Okay, so at that age, this face you have is the one that you had at 22 and at 18, right?
Yeah.
So there's stability at that time, so we're able now to put in the crowns or the veneers and give you a permanent solution.
Now, let's talk about genetics here, because at times you see family members who have issues with your teeth. So you will find an adult somewhere, then the children, one or two of them are struggling with this. Is it possible for dental caries or cavities to be genetic?
What is genetic is things like now getting crowding. You might even have, like if I have crowding, my child would get crowding. It might even have the same pattern. So my child may inherit my crowding because of my jaw, the size of my jaw, and the size of my teeth. Also, a child may develop crowding because may inherit my small jaw and may inherit the father's big teeth. So that ratio may be all wrong. So now once you have this kind of crowding, because you're not brushing very well, these areas where the teeth, the food will be packing, will then cause cavities to form because the bacteria will harbor around there. These same bacteria will also infect the gum. So sometimes when I see people thinking alignment is cosmetic, that's not true. Alignment is actually very important so that you're able to clean your teeth, keep your gum health, and keep your teeth all together. Yes.
So perhaps you can reiterate for the sake of our audience what crowding exactly is.
So crowding is when you see teeth that are crooked. Let's use that word because that's the common word I hear. I'm told my child's teeth are crooked. What do I do? So teeth are crooked, but also crooked in different positions. Okay? Just like the way we are all uniquely made, so is the crowding. So my crowding will be different from yours, other than the one a child would inherit from a parent. So teeth will not sit in the right same position that they would sit on a cast, on teeth. I need to give you a cast.
Okay.
Is this clearer?
Yes.
Can I get a clearer one?
Yes.
So, so teeth sit in the right position. So if they're not sitting in the right position, you may find one tooth sitting on top of the other, or having grown inside instead of sitting aligned in that position. So once they're misaligned, you can imagine a toothbrush will miss a tooth when you're brushing. It's a better one. So teeth, that's a perfect dentition. So teeth are in the right positions, both upper and lower. So once they're in different positions, it's very difficult for the toothbrush because if it's inside, it will be missed.
Okay, just put back the teeth together, we see. So each tooth from the top should be aligned to the one at the bottom?
Yes.
Oh,
and
wow.
at the back, you find that there's actually an overlap so that one is able to chew properly. So you can even find that some of these teeth may not even overlap. You might find some of them are out, some of them are in. So someone is not able to chew properly. And you're wondering why this child is taking forever at the dining table. So you find someone saying, oh, he's just a slow eater, he's just a poor eater. No, teeth aren't meeting. So he can't crush his food properly.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so now that you're holding the dental formula, help us understand how best to brush teeth. Because there's those ones who brush up and down, there's who do the round. What is the best way?
So this is your toothbrush. For an adult, it should be medium hardness. For a child, it should be soft. Now, most people do this horizontal stroke. Now, this is a terrible stroke because it actually hurts the gums and wears it up, exposing actually the root surfaces, making teeth very, very sensitive. So this, and then the way you hold this grip, it's a very firm grip. So when you're doing a horizontal stroke, first of all, you're in a hurry. It's a very firm grip, so you're wearing out the gum. Then you can imagine a comb with hair. A comb, normal comb with hair. Rub that comb this way. Those hairs won't come out of that comb, not at all. The only way they will do so is actually when you actually pull out the hair from the comb.
Yeah.
So this is not even an effective way of cleaning, all right? So we say small round strokes. Small round vertical strokes. That's the only way that you're going to effectively clean your teeth, all right? Brush on top of the surfaces. Brush behind the teeth. All upper and lower jaw, and then please don't forget your tongue for your fresh breath. So remember, it's vertical, round strokes all around. Not a heavy, strong horizontal stroke. That's a no-no.
Now, I have come across people who say when you brush your teeth, just spit off the toothpaste and off you go.
No, and especially children, they've got that habit. That's why you must supervise them. And that's why it's good to start at that age of reads, so they're able to actually appreciate what you're doing, okay? Because you can go, and especially boys are very notorious. They just go in 1 minute and they're out, swishing and gone. And then they go and show their parent, yes, I've done it, and you can see some remnants of toothpaste, and you're telling them, go and rinse off. And says, no, please supervise these children, okay? Because you still ask yourself, and some of them say, they're brushing their teeth. I don't know, Dr. why they're still having cavities. Because they're not effectively brushing their teeth well, okay? Toothbrushing must take at least 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so 1 minute the child is out, be very, very concerned.
So 2 minutes is not enough?
No, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, because that's when I know you've got actually way behind your teeth, way behind at the back, both the upper jaw, and also you've done your tongue.
For the children, that takes a lot of
Yes,
patience.
so that's why you must be there, and it's a habit that you must generate. Yes.
Okay, and for those that do that, especially come from the West where fluoride is actually very little in the water, so they find the fluoride in the toothpaste. Talk about the discrepancy, because here we have fluoride in our water, lots of it.
Yeah, for us, fluoride has got its benefits, though we have to have, as everything good, there's got to be a maximum. So where it's excessive, this is where we have now the fluorosis and the stained teeth and the problems that come with it. Teeth are just flaking off, breaking off, and having the weak bones. But where there is also very little fluoride in their water, they also have weak teeth. And that is why sometimes in Western world, because they use a lot of recycled treated water, their teeth are actually worse than ours. Okay? So maybe that's a good advantage that we live in this continent, other than the fact that we're managing COVID very well.
Yeah.
Yes. So what is the balance? They say 1 to 2 parts per meter per thousand is the best. How would you know this? It's very difficult, but the minute you start seeing that there's fluoride going on in your communities, I think as communities, you need to actually consult the authorities so that they are able to treat this water and lower these fluoride levels down, at least for future generations.
Okay. All right. So at this point, we take a short break here on Your World. When we come back, we'll talk about other solutions that cater for dental issues, especially for children. And I'm sure you see a lot of kids with braces. The question is that an indication of a problem, or is it actually a good sign that parents are taking their children to the dentist earlier on? Dr. will tell us more in a moment. Remember, hashtag new normal is how you can answer that question of the day, which is, have you ever taken your children to see a dentist? And if not, why? Well, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll be reading out that feedback. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja. As I had mentioned today, we are coming to you live from the Denplan Dental Surgeon's office here in Nairobi. And our host of the day is Dr. Emma Wainaina, who is a pediatric dentist and orthodontist. And we're talking about caring for your children's teeth. And now earlier on, we had Ritz and his father Moses. Ritz is 4 years old. We saw his teeth being cleaned and he got a good bill of health in as far as catering for his teeth. Now we have another patient called Jude. He's 10 years old and Dr. will be telling us why he's here today. But remember, there's that question of the day that we had posed to you, remember, asking you, have you ever taken your children to see the dentist? And if not, why? That hashtag is a new normal. If I can get that feedback, yes. We have Biphonics who says, I myself, I only go there when I want to remove one or refill. That's all. Okay. Yes, every 6 months. Good job, Tito. Caleb Chauro who says, it's due to high costs of the service. Legit. Actually, that's fair enough, and we'll be talking about that in a moment. Kevin Wasika says, they only come when the child has a toothache and force you to extract the tooth. I always don't extract the tooth, making most parents bitter at me. Extraction isn't the solution to a toothache, especially on children. Unfortunately, parents have no idea of the same. Kevin sounds like a dentist himself, a daktari. Yeah, I see you shaking your head. Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
All right, why?
Well, I don't know whether Kevin is a dentist or not, but that's a very well motivated person. Because as I told you that the milk teeth are the foundation of which the permanent teeth derive from. So any early extraction at the wrong time will mean that the tooth won't erupt in the right position, and therefore we have this crowding problem. So it's important to try and fill up the teeth, restore the milk teeth, and wait until the right time for shedding our tooth. And then we wait for the tooth to erupt in the right position. So early extraction is not advisable. Milk teeth are very important. And please, parents, let's take care of milk teeth. Let's restore them. Let's wait for the right time to shed the teeth at the right age.
Now, Dr. Harry, two things. First of all, you're talking about an age group that is always up and about, very energetic, and they get into trouble, fall, lose their teeth. What happens then?
So they are between the age of 5 and 6, they're up and about, and especially children like this. So one you should be concerned about is if they have an accidental fall. Is it the permanent tooth that has actually broken, especially if it's one of the front incisors? If it's a permanent tooth, then that's a big loss because there's not another tooth that will actually grow. So we need to come in, evaluate, find out what kind of damage has happened and what kind of injuries, whether there's any root fracture. If there's none, so we'll take x-rays just to confirm that and give you treatment options because we need that tooth to remain. It's a permanent tooth. If it's a milk tooth that has actually broken and we feel like this tooth can actually wait a bit, then we'll also give you what treatment options are there. So the x-ray will be our guidance to tell you what treatment options are available, how long we want to keep this tooth, and why.
Now, I see some kids whose teeth look so brittle, like the decay has happened and part of the tooth is barely there. Aren't these kids in pain, so keeping the tooth is actually counterproductive?
That's why they need to see the dentist, because pain is what we manage, and pain is what we are trying to avoid. Okay, so solutions are available, all right? Whether it will be a filling, whether it will be a root canal procedure, but there are root canals for children. It's called vulvotomy or pulpectomy. Or whether if it's too bad, then we'll have to do a removal and then get something called a space maintainer so that we can keep that space, whether it's for 5 years, for 6 years, or for 4 years until the right eruption age for that particular tooth is there. Because we need that space. Any space is lost, that's a sign of crowding. And that's a sign of malocclusion.
Okay, now 2 questions from our audience. One comes from actually Arnold, who is asking when the child, there's some kids who have more milestones or faster milestones when it comes to their teeth, their teeth erupt faster. So when it comes to shedding, they also do it faster than their next kid. So when they start shaking and you know it's not time perhaps for the canine to come off, should you let it go and let it shed off when it's ready?
No. Some children have early milestones, as you said. Some will walk, not crawl. So some will actually by 1 year, they'll have all their teeth. Others by 2 years, they'll have all their teeth. Some erupt at 3 months, some take even longer, 8 months. Some start erupting at 4 years, some start later at 6 years. So that happens. Some, either it's genetic, some is also purely hormonal. And there's nothing much you can do about that. The teeth still will grow at a pattern. Whether they're going to shed off at 4 years or whether they're going to shed off at 6 years, they will still grow at a pattern. And the pattern will always be the lower incisors, upper incisors into the canines, then the molars, the premolars into the molars. So that pattern is a standard. Okay, so even if they start shedding off early, that pattern will always be there.
All right. And the other question from Denise, who is saying, my son knows every time he eats a sweet or a biscuit, he has to swoosh, whether it's daytime or nighttime.
Nice. I like that kind of parent. That is a well-motivated child.
Yeah.
I think has followed instructions very well, and the mother must have started very early. So it's important because there's nothing much you can do when kids are going to school. So it's important for them to remember they must always brush their teeth in the morning and the evening and try and swish after taking any sweet things.
Okay.
So that child is very well motivated, and the parent should actually keep it up.
Perhaps this is something even as adults we should take up.
Yes, yes. But as you notice how Baba Ritz was talking about, the child follows exactly what the parent does. So if a parent is not motivated enough to be brushing their own teeth, the child will pick up those habits.
Yeah.
And that is why I say they come in at 6 months, so that the parent is motivated to clean their own child's teeth and also clean theirs. And with time, the child will see that this is a continuous habit. We do this in the morning and we do this in the evening.
Okay.
So children learn by repetition and by example.
Okay. All right. So to our patient, second patient of the day, Jude. Hi. How are you? Can we have a microphone for Jude? I'd like to hear what he is saying. Okay. So
I want you to show
how
them
old are you?
I'm 10.
10 years old. Okay. And why are you here to see the dentist?
I'm here to remove my canine.
Your canine.
Yes.
What's going on?
It's shaking.
It's shaking. All right.
Yes.
Anything else that you've noticed about your tooth or teeth?
No.
Nothing. Okay. So, Dr. why is Jude here apart from the shaking tooth?
Jude is here to, first of all, let me know whether he still remembers how to brush his teeth. So I want him to do a demonstration of how to brush teeth. All right, Jude? Can we get the mic so that you can show them how you're brushing your teeth?
Okay.
And how you brushed this morning.
So
and
how do
remember
you-
which stroke.
How do you brush your teeth?
You go from the side like this, upper jaw, and then you go to the lower jaw and do the same thing. Then open, and then brush the top. The top jaw also. Brush behind if there's any, if you have just eaten, to remove anything from the back. Then rinse.
How
And
many
then
times do you rinse?
you rinse twice.
Good job. And for how long do you brush your teeth for?
You brush for 30 seconds.
Well,
like it's 30
clearly,
seconds.
we need to change a bit of what happens here, as far as Judy is concerned. But then again, as you said, 3 minutes is actually the ideal time for a child to take while brushing their teeth. So let's see, apart from the shaking tooth, now that we know how to brush our teeth, what do we do?
So, Jude, I'd like to have a look at your teeth. I see which one is shaking. I see if there's any that has any black spot on it. So you remove from your mask.
So first of all, he is 10, meaning he's still shedding his teeth, right?
Yeah, so at 10 years, we usually have 8 to 10. We usually have mixed dentition. What does that mixed dentition mean? It means you have some permanent teeth and some milk teeth. And sometimes at this age also parents are negligent because they're thinking now teeth are coming out. Why bother to feel? And I'm thinking this is the age that you really must be concerned because the teeth that are coming in are the canines, are the premolars, are the molars. These teeth require a lot of space. And if we have already lost space, it means that they won't erupt in the right position. We'll find the canines erupting up, taking upper positions, or we find the premolars in inner positions or the molars in outer positions.
Yeah.
So these teeth are the ones that we actually will determine how you bite and how you will look, okay, at the end of the day. So we are very concerned at that age that all teeth only shed at the right time. So we try and maximize the amount of space that is there so that teeth grow in the right positions.
Okay. So at this point, perhaps he has how many to go?
Oh, this one maybe even has fewer teeth. Open up. So, as I said, we have mixed dentition.
Yes.
We have quite a number of teeth trying to grow there on the lower side. Okay, you can even see them peeping out.
Yeah.
He has some shaky teeth. Then he has also lost some. Some are growing at this position, at this age, which is expected, and I'm pretty happy with that. So he has a shaky canine. And he's quite right. He seems to know all his teeth.
Okay, interesting that the shaky canine is the one at the bottom.
Yes.
I thought they're the ones who come out first.
Yeah, so in this case, he's even lost his upper canine and this one,
Yeah.
and you can clearly see there's another tooth there erupting, which I'm pretty happy with. Here, they're actually teeth erupting. If you can clearly see the buds, you will see the eruption buds for all those teeth. They're just actually erupting there, which I'm pretty happy with. So this tooth, we need to shake it off today, Jude. And I think you shed off your black stained tooth, which is okay, because at least the teeth are growing. So this guy is brushing his teeth. I have no cavities. We only have one shaky tooth, which is what I'm going to deal with today.
Okay, so in this case, we are pruting it, so I'm sure he knows the drill.
Yeah, this guy. Now, there are two ways.
Yeah.
There are many times I always tell the parents to allow the child to get involved to remove the teeth. So like, Jude, how many teeth have you removed?
Yourself.
8. So,
Oh, good job.
This is important.
Yeah.
Because now they feel like they're participating and they can feel when their teeth are actually growing. So as much as we will remove the first tooth or maybe even all the 4 or 5 teeth initially, we try and encourage the child to actually be removing their own teeth and report to the parent so that they can actually participate and also be encouraged. All right? So in my opinion, for me, I like proper participation with the child and the parent.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, I have to say, around the age of 4, 5, 6, they are very afraid of the teeth removal, and it's normally a fight to remove them. What would you suggest so that they have the right affiliation to teeth removal? Because some of them become very afraid they wouldn't even sit at the dentist.
Yes, this is also true because even their parents themselves are also scared to remove the teeth. Or sometimes maybe the parent will be rough in removing the teeth because you might find someone has actually pulled down the child to actually forcefully remove the tooth. So I say you need to educate the child. They need to understand that this is a normal, natural process. This is growing up, and this is a stage that you'll have to pass through. And all the 20 milk teeth do shed off. Because some people think it's only the front ones. No, it's all of them. All the 20 teeth do shed off. So you have to let the child know that. So education is important, information is important. Then we actually now participate in the shaking together with the child. And if it's not ready, I'll tell the child, go and shake this for another 2 weeks and come back when it's really more shaky. Okay? So when it's even more shaky, because I know the child has been shaking every night because, he knows this has to go. Then that's when you can come in. We'll put in a gel to try and numb the gum and ice it a little bit so that it becomes cold and numb. And then we'll be able to shed it off without much of a hassle.
Okay.
Which is what I'm going to do with Jude now.
All right.
However, for once children now go through that stage, they actually normalize. And they themselves will be removing them even in schools or at home.
Okay.
And Jude has done well. 8.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Okay, so now how many, you said the canine is what is coming out. Did you try to remove this yourself? Yes. Is it a bit harder? Yeah, and that's because their roots are deeper, Daktari?
Yes.
Canines?
So canines' roots are deeper. The molars at the back, the roots are deeper. But he's also done a good job. So as long as they keep on shaking and they're shaking until when it's too stiff.
Yeah.
And even they'll tell you, this tooth is refusing to come out, mom or dad. This tooth is refusing to come out. The father will shake, the mother will shake, and find out that they actually can't do it. So hello, this is where I come in.
The dentist. Okay, then. So let's help Jude shed his last canine.
Yeah. So as I said, at this stage now we're having a lot of teeth growing and coming up. We say teeth pop like popcorn. All right, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. Teeth just keep coming in and out. Like he looks like he has very few teeth in the mouth, but actually a lot of them are actually going to be growing at this stage. Okay, and if he's very well motivated, he'll be removing himself and he'll be brushing. So we won't be seeing any cavities, and we are confident that this child will continuously brush their own teeth.
Okay.
You're good? Next.
Jude, are you scared? A little bit, but you're being brave about it, yeah? Because you know it needs to come out either way, yeah? Good job. You're a strong boy, and you're giving a lot of motivation to others your age, yeah? Good job.
Okay, Jude, please open for me. So this is the numbing cream that I'll just be putting there. Try and numb this too. So at this stage also is when parents also notice that teeth are not also growing in the right positions. And I always say, please come at this age so that we're able to do something called a space analysis. Okay? So what does space analysis mean? I come in and I see how much space we've got and whether these teeth will erupt in the right position. So we'll take some specialized x-rays, all right? And we will check the eruption pattern and do a space analysis and then tell you whether all these 32 teeth will either fit or we'll have to remove some so that they all fit in line, or whether now braces as an intervention of aligning will therefore apply. So this is a very critical age. This is a good age that parents need to be bringing in their children for evaluation.
Is that why we also see kids at this age going up until their teens wearing braces?
Yes, and that's also because of depending on how the teeth have developed, okay, and how also the jaw has developed. Because some jaws, if they're too tight or too tiny and the teeth are not fitting in well, would have to then possibly advance the jaw, so that then we have all the teeth coming in. But all these some of them are genetic or developmental problems. And we can only do an assessment once they come in. And as I said, we also take in specialized x-rays and provide proper advice and guidance on what intervention that we will do.
Okay, so to that question, more kids wearing braces today, an indication of a problem or the fact that there is early intervention?
Well, number one, it's awareness. Most adults right now even are seeking braces. Why? Because when they were kids, their parents either didn't know or couldn't afford, with a quote-unquote fact that people thinking dental treatment is expensive, which is really debatable from where I sit. Bearing in mind the long-term effect. I always say dental treatment is actually the cheapest treatment that is available because the effects are long-lasting. I mean, I give you a great smile for life. How cheap is that?
It's worth it. It's worth it, yeah.
Fine, it's worth it. Let's see. So we say our dental plan, every smile counts, and that's what we do. So it's, I think, more awareness. It's more Google, also, which is a positive in a way. And I think also, especially for people who actually have suffered having crowded teeth and they know the issues they have with their teeth, their gums, and their self-esteem, they don't want their children to go through the same thing. So they will always try and get the intervention done early and get the braces done early. If you also grow up with people in school that you used to see having this problem, or your workmates who you see they don't smile too well, their confidence issues because they have crowded teeth, and then you see your child having the same problem, you want to sort it out really early so the child doesn't develop with this kind of problem. Yes, so it's more awareness that is there, more education, more information. Yes.
All right, so back to Jude.
Yes.
It should be numb by now.
Are you feeling that it's getting numb? Funny feeling? Let me add some more. Open up.
So kids this age, you do not inject them with an...
Well, the injection still has its place. We don't say we don't inject.
Okay.
I think people, and again, I think there's a misconception of thinking injections are painful. It's all here.
Well, that would be a very hard thing to convince some of us.
It's all here.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially ours. I keep on telling people, a dental injection is really like a small mosquito bite. So it's really tiny. And once you have the numbing cream in, you won't even feel much. True.
Well, again, it would be very difficult to convince some of us.
True.
But yeah, I hear you.
So we're going to shake this too slowly, Jude. I'm going to show everybody how easy it was.
Oh, that was quick.
Very.
Jude did not even flinch.
Good boy.
Good job.
Open. Bite. So he'll bite that for about 10 minutes. Children don't bleed much.
Yeah, let's talk about the aftercare after removing these teeth. Of the open space, and of course, what else comes with the rest of them?
Well,
that have
in
to
this case,
shed?
because the tooth is actually ready, the other tooth will be coming up much. As I said, he'll just bleed for about 5 to 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
we'll just remove this after 10 minutes and he goes home. He will not need any painkillers. He will not need any antibiotics as long as he's brushing well. But in cases where you have an infection or a child is prone to infection and you can clearly see that they're not brushing their teeth well, then I would have to advise for antibiotics moving forward. If it was a permanent tooth that was completely decayed off and I can't save it, then also I would have to put antibiotics after an extraction. But Jude is good to go.
And speaking of which, especially when you talk about infections, when it comes to dental care, it's not only about the teeth. We're thinking about the gum too.
Yes.
What are the common problems you see with kids and their gums?
Well, for sure, one is infection, and that's because what happens is if they're not brushing well, as I mentioned before, you've got all this plaque, all these deposits that are happening between and behind the teeth, and these harbor bacteria that infect the gums and that also infect the teeth, cause cavities. So it's double tragedy happening. Therefore, we need to treat the gums. We'll need to treat the infection from the teeth decay. And there are various antibiotics for each condition, whether it's gum disease or whether it's from the tooth decay. All right? So depending on the presentation of the problem, we'll therefore advise what antibiotic to use for the gums and what antibiotic to use where it's tooth decay related. Yes.
And in the case of a child, by the age of, you said by what age they're done shedding and also growing of teeth? What age?
Well, this can go until, for the early bloomer, they'll finish by about 10, 11. A late bloomer will actually go on until 12, 14.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually possible, because sometimes some parent will come and tell me, my child is 13, in their teens, why are we still shedding? So if it was a late bloomer, it will go on till about 13, 14.
Okay.
However, we still have the wisdom teeth that will be coming up much later on. That will be at about 18 for early bloomers and 22, 24 for the late bloomers.
Speaking about blooming, there's some people, they never came out. Perhaps because they didn't have enough space, or what's that about?
One, maybe you don't have it at all. So genetically, maybe you inherited very few teeth. So maybe you just have 28. So then there are some where the space is just not there. So the teeth are actually stuck. All right. So you'd have to take x-rays and find out what positions they're stuck in. Sometimes they stay on. Sometimes they can be problematic. And you can be having migraines which you can't understand where they're coming from. And that's because these embedded teeth are pressing on the roots of the other teeth. And especially when they're having eruption forces, you'll be having some serious migraine headaches. So no matter what painkiller you take, which doctor you go visit, the solution will actually be once you take an X-ray and we see where those teeth are lying. Yes.
All right, now let's take you back when they're 6 months and their teeth are starting to erupt. There's some that have a hard time, you know, they're fever, they're trying to rub it and all that. But there's some, you wake up one morning and the teeth are there.
Yes.
Yeah, is this genetics?
No, I think some parents are lucky, just the way some parents get colic, kids get colic, and your parent is having a nightmare with this child, and some children just grow up with no issues, calm baby, and you're having a great time. So yes, there's some that you'd have to rub, even a numbing cream. They would come in and we'd get a numbing cream to actually help, and especially if they get the fevers and all. Others, I would advise you get a carrot stick, a cold carrot stick from the fridge, and just rub and try and numb. You must peel it and must be clean, and numb the gum, and the child will feel pretty happy with it. Or even an apple, okay? Just freeze it a bit and then let the child rub on it, all right? They're really going to actually enjoy that cool feeling. Some people will get a toy, but you have to be very careful the toy. You've got to have cleaned it. Hygiene is very, very important at that age because they have their running stomachs, fevers, anything can happen. So you've got to be able to clean up that toy, put it in the fridge, freeze it a bit, and then let them eat, chew on it like a tooth ring or something. You can now chew on it, and that cooling effect actually helps. So yes, some will have irritations, and some, the teeth will just grow. Yes.
And speaking of which, there is this theory about phantom teeth. They say, ni meno lakini si meno ya ukweli. What is that? Where they look like white stuff, but really they're not teeth.
Yeah, so what happens, especially when a child is born, you'll have a mother who's very, very concerned, says, "Ala, amezaliwa na meno." And you go in, and that's what are called the phantom teeth. They're just like white plastic flaky teeth. They'll actually shed off, and then the milk teeth will actually come in. But parents are really very concerned about that because they look like teeth, and even when the child is breastfeeding, it's very, very painful, okay, because the way they're suckling, they're actually biting onto the teeth, so some of them are quite painful. So the parent will definitely be concerned. But still, remember I've said hygiene starts early. Be taking a clean face cloth and be wiping the gums of the child and the tongue of the child. Don't put any toothpaste, just a clean face cloth, wipe the gums and the tongue of the child.
Dr. Terry, what causes the phantom teeth?
Some is genetics.
Okay.
Others are known.
All right.
Yeah.
And at what point of the pregnancy
And it
does
is
that
not
happen?
witchcraft, by the way.
Yeah, because, I mean...
Because some communities since we are rich in many communities, it is not witchcraft, by the way. So it's genetics. Sometimes we think it's environmental factors, but it's actually unknown.
So they shed off at what point?
They'll just drop off before the milk teeth start coming out at 3 months. Even they can stay for a month.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're about to take another short break here on Your World. And when we come back, it will be interesting to hear from Jude. Are you still there? Yeah? Okay, I'm sure by then your bleeding would have stopped. But then again, we also need to hear from Dr. Irene as far as other issues. Like you talked about plaque deposits. I think this is also another source of discoloration, and we'll talk about how we can ensure we cater for that in a moment. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Today we are focusing on how to care for your children's teeth. We are coming to you live from the Dentplan Dental Surgeons, and our host of the day is Dr. Emma Wainaina, who is a pediatric dentist and orthodontist. Now, we'll be getting back to that conversation in a moment, but for now, some of the stories making headlines in your other world. Installed in the heart of Stockholm, a wall of kindness inspired by a trend seen in Iran in 2015 offers a place for people to give away warm clothing. Now donations are hung on the wall where people in need can come pick them up.
The response has been huge, really. There are hundreds of thousands of people who's seen the posting on our social media, and a lot of people are bringing stuff here. So every day people hang things up like this, and every night it's empty, and then it comes up again. So it's really quite, the turnover here is it's happening all the time. And it's really something people love to do, to bring things here. It's really simple. You can just take anything you don't use anymore, and also great for sustainability, of course. It's good when things come to use instead of just laying around at home, and it's better to bring them here. Most of the time we want people to come here with warm winter clothing. Usually the wall is put up during the cold period of the year, where people need warm clothing, people that don't have any homes, for example. So we have some children's wear, for example, jackets, warmer jackets, shoes, different kinds of shoes. The other day, somebody actually left a baby stroller here. It was here for about a couple of hours, and then somebody picked it up and walked off with it. So that's really nice. Anything that you think that somebody else could use, you can hang on the wall. So it's really simple.
Now to some developing international news, here are some images showing downtown Mayfield, Kentucky, largely flattened after tornadoes ripped the U.S. state, where at least 74 deaths have been confirmed. So back to our conversation, caring for children's teeth, still with Dr. Emma Wainaina, who is a pediatric dentist and orthodontist. And of course, we have Jude, who is 10 years old. He just got his last canine extracted, and you were such a superstar. Good job, good job. So let's hear from him. So how many more teeth do you think you have to let go of?
I think like 10 more.
10 more. Is that right, Dr. Eri?
No, he has about 5 more.
5 more teeth to go. So are you going to do them yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, good job. So does mommy and daddy give you a hand?
Yeah, Dad gives me a hand.
When it gets a little bit painful.
Yes.
All right. And does the tooth fairy come to get your tooth?
Yes.
Oh, cool. So that's a good incentive, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And it was so nice to meet you. And you're very brave. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So Dr. clearly Jude here is a testament of what your children can grow up to be when it comes to their dental care, literally taking the lead in the same. When you get to meet these kids, you develop a relationship. Clearly I can see you have one with Jude. How does that translate to their dental care long term?
Now, in the long term, that means that this Jude and I will be buddies for life.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very important. Even with whichever dentist, family dentist that you visit, it's important to develop a good relationship, especially for children, with their doctor and their dentist, because whatever concerns they'll be having, they'll be very confident to come and visit, sit without having parental supervision, get the tooth done, get the tooth filling, get a tooth extraction, get tooth advice. And they'll be able to talk confidently, brush their teeth very well because they've already adapted to it. So early dental visits are highly recommended for the family and for the children especially.
Okay, so I think at this point it would be good to say you not only see the young patients, you also see adults.
Yes, at Dentplan we see both. We do wholesome dentistry. So yes, we're a family dental practice, so we see various types, whether it's children, whether it's adults, whether we're doing fillings for adults, whether we're doing braces for adults, whether we're doing fillings for children, whether we're doing braces for children. So depending on what the problem is, we cover all.
Yeah. Question is, do you have to do special training to deal with the young ones?
Yes, pediatric is actually, it's just like being a pediatrician in medicine. It's a special branch of dentistry called pediatrics, and there's a special branch in medicine called pediatric medicine. So in pediatric dentistry, because of the different types of formula that the child has and the different needs and the attention that a child needs, then the science of pediatric dentistry is there. And the reason is we also want the child to develop better aligned teeth with better occlusion, with better bites, so that they're able to take care of themselves, their gums, their health, and their teeth and their nutrition, which is very different from adult care and adult dentistry. So yes, it's a specialized science.
Okay, now let's go back to the cost of dental, services. And you said when you think about it, what you invest actually serves you lifetime or lifelong. But really, when you think about it, a lot of people will not come and see you because they cannot afford that insurance cover or pay off their pocket.
Yeah, there is that misconception that is sold by insurance companies and also sold by, I think, by myths that dental care or dentistry is actually quite expensive. But nonetheless, I think it's the cheapest. I mean, you get a filling. Filling lasts you 3 to 5 years. You go get your car serviced. It lasts you how long? This car you're using every day, maybe every other weekend.
Yeah.
Your teeth you're using every day of your life. So if you divide by 5, by 8, by 10, what costs are we talking about here? They're neither here nor there.
Okay.
That's for a filling. That's for either root canal restoration. That's for a crown, which are even more permanent, or an implant, which are lifelong. So I tell people, just divide it by 10 and ask yourself, really, is it that expensive? Why would you say that you'd rather take your car for service for 20,000, 50,000, and not yourself, and not your teeth, which will give you more, longer duration and better service for yourself?
I hear
So no.
Okay.
Dental care is actually quite affordable.
Now, let's talk about the fact that some insurance companies actually put some dental procedures under the bracket of cosmetic. When it comes to children, what have you seen categorized as cosmetic, but it actually is a necessary procedure?
Well, as I said, again, that's a problem. Education, information is necessary. And the insurance companies have capitalized on ignorance, so that's to reduce the dental covers. And there's nothing cosmetic in children. What is cosmetic? If a child has dental fluorosis, how is that cosmetic? These teeth are chipping, this child can't eat well, this child will have developmental issues, self-image issues. We need to treat this problem. It's not cosmetic. This child has teeth that are growing in the wrong positions, developing gum disease, getting cavities. So how on earth do you tell me that braces are cosmetic procedure? Impossible. We are trying to prevent gum disease from happening. We are trying to prevent malocclusion. We're trying to prevent bad nutrition. So no, braces are not cosmetic. No, are maskings, crowns, veneers, because we are really correcting a problem. So we need to demystify this business of cosmetic dentistry, and especially in children. There is nothing like cosmetic dentistry.
I see. Okay, so even as we think about some of the questions that have been posed to you, there's a parent who is asking here, actually, she's called Elossi, and she's asking her child, who is now 3 years old, has been having some stains on his teeth, but they come and go, like brown stains, and then they disappear, like spots. How would you explain that?
Well, stains in children can be internal or external. The internal stains are the ones we're talking about, like fluorosis, because those are internal. No matter how much brushing you do, much cleaning you do, it won't come out because they're in. So that's where we come in to do the masking. Some stains are external, okay, which could be either poor brushing or the way kids, as I told you, they just do a swish, 30 minutes, 30 seconds, sorry.
And off they go.
Off they go. So they're not brushing properly. So we have all these foods being retained, deposits being retained. So they get all this staining all over their teeth, okay? So a good cleanup is important. A visit to the dentist, do a good cleanup is important. And these stains actually wash off, especially if you supervise the brushing for these children. So I'm sure she notices when she supervises the brushing, the stains go. When the child is running along with himself, you'll find some stains hovering behind and between the teeth. So it's important that we actually encourage toothbrushing, supervise, visit the dentist to have this cleaned up, because you don't want these deposits happening because they have a bacteria that will infect the gum and cause dental cavities.
Talking about supervision, up until what age should you keep supervising them?
I think it's, you will start, of course, early. Remember I said you have to start this at 6 months and above. So you will start early and you will keep it up to at least 10. Yeah. Because remember, some are late bloomers. Yes. And some are early bloomers. Yeah.
But for him who says, I have to brush my teeth for 30 seconds, we still need
you have to supervise this. You have to supervise this and tell them, go back. Go back and brush. Yes. So you will still have to do this. Parenting doesn't end. Just because teeth are growing and you're shedding teeth, we have to continuously do this. Repetition is important, and we have to continuously keep it up.
From your experience, the patients that come in, the young ones, what are you seeing the problems? What are the most common problems you're seeing?
What we're seeing right now, I'll group them in different age groups, because you can see between 0 to 3, we are having big problems with cavities. And this is because, one, we're having mothers sleeping with the teeth in the mouth or with the bottle in the mouth. So you find by 2 years or 1 year, all the teeth have been broken down with cavities. They have decayed. Child is uncomfortable. The infections all over the gums, the infections all over the place. That is a big concern. Even if you go into general hospitals in the districts, you're going to find this kind of children, this kind of mothers having these concerns. And children are not thriving well, and they're constantly on antibiotics left, right, and center, right? So dental cavities is a big issue between the ages of 0 to 3. Thereafter, because either teeth out of negligence, ignorance, or parents being persistent that they want these milk teeth removed, we have teeth erupting in the wrong positions. Again, as I said, there's also a genetic factor where they may have inherited a smaller jaw, and therefore teeth aren't fitting very well. So you'll also have crowding happening around that age. Remember, that's a time now also teeth are shedding off. So we'll see all this happening, bleeding gums coming in. Then teenage, we also have now this now having advanced, if they were never ever corrected. We'll always have now teeth always having cavities, fillings being constantly there, gums are always bleeding. We have to keep on checking onto the gums. So we therefore advise that we really need to do this intervention so that we can align the teeth and keep teeth healthy, keep the gums healthy, so that we can keep teeth in place.
Now, you talked about the milk thing, and Fiona here is saying, did Daktari say that we need to stop giving our children milk at night, or what exactly do you mean?
This is what I mean. When the child goes to bed, remove that teat from the child's mouth. Remove that bottle from the child's mouth, all right? Don't let that child sleep with the bottle at night or with your teeth at night. No, all right? So remove the teeth, remove. If the child wakes up at night and cries for milk, wake up, give the child milk and remove the teeth and remove your bottle away from the child.
And is this only after their teeth have sprouted, or you can get away with it up until 6 months?
No, because this will happen. Remember breastfeeding?
Yes.
Your people are advised to breastfeed up to 3 years. So it's the whole breastfeeding duration. Yes.
Okay, and between the boys and the girls, as you said, boys are notorious for choo-choo-choo, off they go. Do you see more boys coming in with dental issues?
It actually happens. Even you'll have more females being more keen and having their teeth white and restoring their teeth, and then having males saying, you know, I don't need it. Then later now they come asking for a replacement, and now the restoration is where now someone finds that think it's expensive, and I'm thinking, I'm giving you a life restoration. How expensive is your life?
Yeah. Okay, now for most parents, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter as long as it doesn't hurt. What would you like to reiterate?
Now, that is also another misconception and a myth that we need to get rid of. Because some people say, how we? Our teeth are discolored, stained, they are broken down. And they're like, we don't want to visit the dentist. So when they start shaking off, that's when we will go. But remember, we're losing space. Teeth aren't growing. Remember, this child is not eating well. You are saying that he's just a poor eater, has yumi, he's not bothered. But really, this child doesn't eat very well at the table. So doesn't thrive very well. Sometimes I find a 10-year-old looking like a 6-year-old.
What do you mean?
Yes, in terms of size and body, because they haven't grown well. And this child is also having issues in school, and they're thinking that they're seeing the schools cancel. And I'm thinking, this child is just not eating well because he has cavities, he has teeth issues. The minute we sort out this problem, this child will start eating very well. And as I said, sometimes even the teeth don't even erupt where they meet and crash, as I showed you from the cast. But if teeth aren't biting in the right positions, you find some teeth are way off. So the child is not being able to actually crush or grind his teeth. Okay? So this child takes forever at the dining table. Okay? But how we? You understand? So you're not concerned or bothered as a parent, and you're not wondering or asking yourself, why does this child take forever at the table? This child is constantly hungry. Constantly. Yeah, so he's struggling trying to get a meal or food or whatever. So he'll find himself now taking more sweeter things because he needs energy. Remember, at this age, they're all up and about. Yes. So then, as I said, it's double charity because now he's taking more sweeter things because they're softer and easier to swallow with very little chewing. And there goes the sugar straight to their teeth, cavities, and this becomes a vicious cycle.
Okay, but definitely at this age, they are at that point where the sweeter things are more, you know, attractive. So how can we engage but ensure that we still safeguard their dental health?
This is now where we need to educate parents, even schools, okay? Because sometimes even they get all these sweets in schools. And, I keep on saying we need to educate parents that really 0 to 5, fruits, all right? Avoid these sweet things. Avoid extra salt, extra sugar in their teas, in their porridge, everything. Avoid these extra sugars that you're having. So have more fruits. Kids will run around high on fruits. That's okay. Not high on sugar. No. So parents, nutrition is important. Get rid of the sugar. Children, after that, they don't grow too interested in having the sugar with them. So that sweet tooth is actually developed at a young age. It's not something that one says they were born with a sweet tooth. No, it's acquired.
Okay, so even as we bring this to a close, what healthy oral habits should we establish in our children from the get-go?
From the get-go, number one, as I said, parents, we need to get engaged completely. We need to keep clean. When the child is born, try get a clean cloth, be cleaning the gum area. When the teeth erupt, continue with that clean cloth, clean out the teeth, clean out the gums, clean out the tongue.
So at that age, still twice a day?
Twice a day.
Okay.
All right? And this habit continues. And remember, the child is also watching you. So if you're not brushing your teeth, they're wondering, why should I? So continue brushing, continue engaging the child, and continue taking care of your own teeth. And then bring them for a dental visit. Because some people think coming to the dentist is expensive and painful. No, it's not. I mean, look at the children today. As long as they're constantly visiting, they get accustomed to the environment and they know it's of benefit to them and also benefit to the parent. Because once you do early intervention, some of these expensive, quote-unquote, procedures are actually then broken down. because we sort the problems early on in life. As I said, when I was talking about space analysis, we'll also do the space analysis, tell you that this child, this jaws would develop to accommodate all this number of teeth. So we do early interventions, and therefore reduce for you your costs later on in life. However, that doesn't mean there's no solution. If someone is in their teens or someone is in their adulthood, there is solutions. You don't have to leave with a shy smile. You can always come in and we can correct that smile.
And now Daisy has a quick one here. When should kids start flossing?
Flossing should start at the age of about 3. You should get those floss sticks because it's very difficult for a child to manipulate with their 2 fingers. So the floss sticks really help because they'll just run them along. And you do this in the evening. And remember, as I said, they're watching you. Okay, so you have to be flossing yourself. They see how you do it. And then you do it with a floss stick. Okay, why? Because still in between the teeth is where actually cavities happen. Okay, and you can't see them with your own naked eye. And that's why a dental visit is actually quite crucial. Because once they start developing from in between, now the cavities now advance further. And you'll be wondering why this child is complaining and you can't see the hole as a mother because you're at least a keen mother who tries to brush. But the holes have advanced in between the teeth. All right? So only a dental visit with x-rays, we can show the teeth, where the cavities are, and we'll try and restore the teeth because as much as possible, we need to keep those milk teeth so that the permanent teeth grow in the right positions. I need to emphasize this.
Okay, so Jude, we have to leave, but we thank you for being such a brave boy. But I'd like you to encourage others your age. Do you have the mic with you, or did we move it? Okay, there we go. So you've been taking care of your teeth very well. Mommy and Daddy show you how to do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right? What would you like to tell other kids your age in as far as taking care of their teeth?
I like to tell them not to be scared of the dentist.
Good job. And when you take care of your teeth, what happens?
You won't have a shy smile.
Yeah.
You won't be scared of smiling when other people smile at you or tell you something nice.
Oh, look at that. Okay, do me a favor. Smile for me. Yay! Asante sana, and it was nice to meet you, okay? All right, so Dr. Emma, we thank you for having us and definitely shedding a lot of light around how to cater for children's dental health. And I think we've been challenged as parents and guardians on as far as what we need to do and how early we should introduce our kids to dentists. So again, Asante Sana, Dr. Emma Wainaina, pediatric dentist and orthodontist, and also the CEO of Dentplan Dental Surgeons, which is where we'll be coming to you live from. And again, as I said, a very informative conversation this morning as we cater for children's dental health. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Thank you for joining us. We shall see you tomorrow.